obviously Ben is the better quarterback of the two, even at his age right now. But given Mason Rudolph another week, knowing that he's the starter this week, not last-minute kind of deal. Also, I think it'll play into this one. Better weather. Mason Rudolph was inaccurate at times, and, when he needed to throw the ball hard, he just lobbed it up there. When he needed to lob it up there, he threw it too hard. But I definitely think weather played a factor in this. I know we don't bring it up a lot, and I do want to give him a kind of built-in excuse last week.
Well, I mean, I'll even go, one step further, Rich, and this is another reason why I think if you play Mason Rudolph, you'll be fine. What is it that the Chargers don't do well? Do you know what they're doing?
They have a horrible run defense.
They are the worst in the league against the run. So if you're going to do anything here, it needs to be, you know what? We are going to run the ball down their throat as much as we possibly can. And at that point, I don't know that the quarterback should be that relevant. You should be able to run at them, and Najee Harris should have a big day. And if that's the case, your quarterback should be basically throwing the ball, play action, and that kind of thing. And if you're not doing that, you're not giving your team the best chance to win.
The Lions also had a bad run defense. They played a couple of them this year. But I want to combat that with and, follow up that with the fact is there's a ton of people out for the Steelers on defense. And the Chargers can light the scoreboard up, and they could be down, 21-0. And what good is it going to do you running the ball then?
Well, the flip side of that is if you've got a bunch of guys out on defense, don't you want to possess the ball?
Yeah, if you can.
Keep the
You're
Chargers,
right, if you can.
Keep the Chargers offense on the sideline, win the time of possession battle by a lot, control the ball and just be able to say that you limited the possessions in the game. I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can look at it. My point is your best chance of winning here is going to be handing the ball off to Najee Harris and letting him pound away and all that other stuff. And I think the other question that people have, and it's a good question, what about is Zach Banner going to play, or is it Chooks, or what are they going to do with that?
Yeah, I don't know yet. I'm wondering why Zach Banner hasn't played, and maybe if you need another extra offensive lineman, an extra blocker, maybe they'll put him in there for Najee Harris. This is a game. I don't have faith in the Steelers in this game. Do you? I mean, I just think the injuries are too much. They're insurmountable right now for the Steelers between injuries and COVID protocols. I'm not giving them too much of a chance out in Los Angeles, even though I think that they are the better team if that they were healthy.
Well, I mean, I think that's the big thing. They're not healthy, and I think you take Minkah Fitzpatrick, right? You take Watt. I think Watt's out of the equation,
Watt's
right?
Out, yep.
So is Joe Hayden out of the equation?
Joe Hayden's out.
You lose some really key players on that defense, which I think is extremely thin to begin with. You get to a point where you start to ask yourself, are they going to be able to, handle playing against, a quarterback like Herbert? So, it could be one of those games where you just sort of rest everybody up and hope that you get them ready for the next week.
At some point, Paul, though, I hate the standard is the standard, and these guys are 1 and 1A. No, they're not. They're practice squad guys, some of these guys that they're calling up to play, and they're reserves and backups for a reason. They're not as good as T.J. Watt. You can't expect that. They're not as good as Joe Hayden. You can't expect that. I mean, Minkah Fitzpatrick. You can't expect Trey Norwood to come in and replace a guy like Minkah Fitzpatrick. And they have to be able to use that as an excuse. I hate when these guys come out and say standard is standard. We expect to win no matter who's in there. I mean, no matter who's in there, what if you and I are in there? I mean, that just doesn't – I don't like that when teams say that.
More importantly, if that's the case, why did you give T.J. Watt $100 and whatever million? I mean, if the standard is the standard, why don't you can get another guy to do the same exact thing and pay him $20 million for 5 years as opposed to 100 and whatever it was. I mean, that's why it's a pipe dream. They don't have anybody else. And I've said this before. The three guys on defense they cannot afford to lose, Hayward, Watt, and Hayden. Those are the three guys, and two of those three are out. They just don't have anybody close to as good as those three guys at those positions. I don't care who it is, they just don't. And so, to me, The defense is going to have to step up, but they're probably not going to be able to, be as good as they would if they had those three guys, which means the offense has to do some things. And again, if you look at what the Chargers don't do well, they don't stop the run. Okay, well, then you got to figure out how to run the ball.
I want to get into that, but we had to take a break. I want to ask you about Matt Canada and what happened last week in the offensive play calling, and if the same thing will happen again this week. All right, but we got to take a break. Back with more of your phone calls, some of your tweets, and more of Paul Zeise. Stay right there.